Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hi. Oh, our guest is there waiting to come on. As always, I'm going to wait a minute or so. Hi, Faye. Hello, hello. Hope you have your cocktail. All right, so some of you may be wondering why I look like I'm in a different place, but first I'm going to pour my vodka martini because I'm just going to the old standard. Going to Kettle One today because I don't have any Belvedere here. Hey, so cheers. Okay, so this week I'm not in my kitchen. I'm coming to you from Dennis, Massachusetts, beautiful Cape Cod. My family has a house here, and I've been reflecting and painting and working from here this week. Hi, hello, hello. Cheers, Freddie. And so I'm here. I'm not cooking anything because today is Takeout Thursday. So in support of the restaurant struggling here, I'm going to order some takeout. Hi, Bob. And so, not eating, drinking vodka. Here you are. I'm going to get started. So, who's joining me tonight? Oh my God, I'm so excited. So, my guest tonight's career spans over 35 years in the entertainment industry. Sorry, but she has an amazing career. She is a brilliantly talented actor and singer. And more importantly, she has the special ability to hold an audience in the palm of her hands. And I can tell you that firsthand. I mean, when you think of the word star, you think of her. She has that quality. She's the recipient of 6 Jefferson Awards from Chicago, 2 Helen Hayes Awards, and many other awards. She was also inducted into the Women in the Arts Museum in Washington, D.C. Her work has been seen on many stages in Chicago, where she lives. Also, all around the country, the Muni, Seattle Rep, I'm reading, Goodman Theater, Arena Stage, Yale Rep, Kennedy Center, Steppenwolf in Chicago, Long Wharf Theater, among others. And we have worked together on 3 projects. We did a production of Ella together at Northlight Theater. At the Oslo, we did, she played Queenie in Showboat. And most recently, though it was a couple of years ago now, she was in the Repertory Theater of St. Louis production of Follies. So I'm going to bring her on now. You've all waited long enough. Without further ado, please welcome the fabulous, spontaneous, and very unedited Faye Butler. Hey!
Cheers, honey.
Cheers!
Cheers, darling.
Oh my goodness, took a big gulp. What are you drinking?
Actually, I'm starting off with a little Pellegrino. Then I'm
Okay.
gonna go to tequila. I just like straight on shots. You know me. I'm a hardcore girl. Just throw it down there, baby. No salt, no lime. Just throw it back.
I never knew that. That's like I have vodka and nothing else is in there. Oh, but you're a
Tequila's mine.
tequila. You're a
Tequila's
tequila.
my game.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite kind of tequila?
Oh my God. Don't let me start. I love Don Julio. I can go down the list. I just love good tequila. I love going to Mexico and going to tequila and just sitting there. I go to the factories, you know what I'm saying? To collect bottles.
Oh my God, you're gonna give me an asthma attack today because you always make me laugh. But okay, so the next time I like tequila. I'm not very experienced with tequila, so we'll go out and we'll do some sampling together.
Yeah, baby. Take a couple flights. We'll take a couple flights of tequila.
That we will. So you are in Chicago. Where in
Yeah,
Chicago?
I'm on the south side. I'm
Yeah.
in the Chatham area and in my home. And I'm upstairs in my second office upstairs. So, just chilling out at home, hanging out
With
at home in the room.
with a fabulous new pair. I haven't seen them. New pair of glasses.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. Since you get to a certain age, if you're gonna have to wear glasses, they might as well be fabulous. So,
Bravo,
they might
bravo.
as well be fabulous. If I'm gonna go into your rehearsal hall and you have to look at me all day in glasses, and you'll go, oh, I can't see your eyes. But if you see these, you might, forgive not seeing my eyes.
They frame them, right?
That's right, my darling. You taught me these things. You know that.
So where are you? Are you staying quarantined for the most part? Are you getting out? Or
Oh, I
where
get
are
out.
you
I
in the
get out.
scale?
I
What
go
do you,
between here and Rockford, Illinois, which is about an hour away. And my family has a house there that I'm trying to desperately get rid of because I'm trying to move to the East Coast. Shh, don't tell anybody.
all right.
And so the only way, because my husband was born and raised in Washington, D.C., he wants to go back home because he's retired. So the only way that we could do that is to get rid of these, because I don't want to keep coming back and forth. I can live anywhere. And I love the East Coast. And I love Maryland. And I love D.C. And I love that area. And it'll put me right in the heart of everything I need to be, where I need to be. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's when so we got to get rid of this house. So I go between here, and we're rehabbing it
Chicago's going to be
ourselves.
heartbroken, but we'll be thrilled. Sorry, Chicago, but you've had her long enough.
And we're rehabbing it ourselves. So this time is giving us a chance to do it because we're doing all the work ourselves. So it's been fun. So I'll go back and forth. That's all, just back and forth.
So you are, I mean, I don't know. I've never had the opportunity because I love Chicago and I love the Chicago theater I've seen. I never was able to break that scene, but I do know that Chicago loves Faye Butler. And when you're there, you are kind of like the mayor or at least the first lady of theater.
They tell me that a lot.
Well, I mean, everybody knows you and you've done so much amazing work. How did that start real quick? Like, how did you end up in Chicago and how did that career happen?
Well, I started out, I went to Illinois State University and I did my undergrad work there. And I went to school with all of my buddies that now started a small little theater. You might have heard of it called Steppenwolf. I don't know. Maybe
I think it sounds familiar.
Kind of, I don't know. Just if you do some research on it. So I went to school and then I left there. And after I did my undergrad work, I came back home to Chicago and I decided I wanted to continue. So I went to the Goodman School of Theater, which is now called the Theater School at DePaul.
Yeah.
And at that time, they didn't have a degree program. What they had was those certificates that say, you've completed our wada, wada, wada. So I did that whole thing, And then after that, I said, okay, that's enough school. And I just started auditioning like a bandit. And you got to remember, it was in the 70s. And so first of all, for me as an African-American woman to even set out on the path of doing theater as a full-time job, people thought I was absolutely insane. Because 9 times out of 10, there were no roles for me. And I'd done all this classically trained work. Because, when you go to a theater school, they're teaching you the classics. They're not teaching you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I
do.
I had all this training and all of this work, and I couldn't put it into use. I didn't sing at all. I have to say that because I did not sing at all. It was never an objective. But I was not, and I went to audition for everything. The Goodman Theater saw me so much till they would just say, "Hey, Faye," when they saw me coming down the hall, and I didn't know any of them.
Well, listen, before we, I'm going to go off script for a minute because we had a program last Friday. My producing associate Tanisha hosted, and we had some amazing Black artists on, and I forget which one, maybe Tanibal. One of them spoke about being trained in school and being trained in the classics and that you go through that and then you come out and then what do you do with that? But you managed to tell me, was that Brittany? Tanisha will tell me, she's watching. So, but anyway, it was an interesting thing. And she is now, if whoever this was said they were doing Black plays now, and they were really getting into the Brittany. Thank you, Eric. I thought it was her. I wasn't sure if it was Alani.
Well, but what happened to me was because I wanted to work and I was not going to give up. And I took a makeup artistry because I didn't want to get out of the industry. I didn't want to get too far away. And so someone said, "Do you sing at all?" I said, "Sing." I did not spend all the money to go to school to sing. How dare you insult me? I'm not a saloon singer. I did that whole dramatic. I did. I mean,
wow.
You spend all that money to get classically trained. And you swear you're going to be Juliet one day, or at least Cleopatra. And then all of a sudden you're hungry. And I said, "No, I don't sing." They said, "Well, if you could get a couple songs and start auditioning for musicals, maybe that could be an inroad." And I did. I didn't know what I was singing. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got 2 songs. I prepared them. I went in an audition and damn it, I got a job.
Wow.
And who would know all these are close to 40 years later that that would be the bread and the butter and the substance
Well,
that carries me
all
till this day.
three projects we did, ironically, all three projects we did were in musicals.
Yes.
And the first one, which we'll talk about in a moment, you were actually performing in a play while
Yes.
we were rehearsing in New Haven.
Right.
So, before we get to that first show, I've been asking everybody about quarantine, but this is a potent time
Hmm.
of civic upheaval, certainly a reckoning, a moment, a movement, we hope, a very meaningful, profound transition in our history. How are
Yes.
you managing that? How are you doing?
Well, I think I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay because I get to see young people, and it makes my heart so warm. But not just young African American people, but I'm seeing young people, our generation, all colors, all ethnicities, all religious are all been broken. Those berries are broken in this moment with our younger generation, and they're coming together in solidarity and working toward a better good. And that makes my heart very proud. Yes, we could cry, but you know what? We could all tell stories until tomorrow morning about all of the suffering, and I get that. And you know what? And those stories are poignant. It's happened to me. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of my history. It's what I bring into the room every time I come and I sit at a table and we're having dialogue and conversation. And I think that's healthy conversation. But what makes my heart so full of joy today as I sit here and I speak to you is that young people are leading the charge. They are our future. They can make a change. Parents with children can teach their children better. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it begins, is at home. If we can get those lessons at home learned and unlearned, bad behavior, we got a chance. And so I'm very optimistic, I
Oh,
guess
I'd
I'm
love to
very
hear that.
optimistic.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm sure you, as I did, and we had a meaningful conversation over the past few days, I'm sure there are other people reaching out to you. And and I love what you said to me in the true candor. I won't say it unless you do, but it was a version of, I don't have all the answers. I think it
Mhm.
was something like,
I'm not Jesus. I
that's
cannot forgive you. I cannot
it.
forgive
And you're refreshing. Your candor is so refreshing, and it was a shot in the arm for me in this really, a really challenging time of
Yes.
accountability, right?
Right. And that's why I tell people, I said, we cannot stay in the past. Let the past lead us to the future. But we can't get stuck in that place. We've got to come up with solutions and analyze and communicate. And for those people that want to learn, there's many lessons out here to learn. But the more you learn, the better you do. And that's what this moment is about, doing better. It ain't going to happen in the morning. It ain't going to happen by next year. But every little inroad takes us closer and closer to not possibly someday, maybe not in my lifetime, never having these conversations again. And
Oh,
that is
please
embedded in
God.
the youth of our country, making that happen. And so that's where I'm hopeful. That's where I'm optimistic. But I can't, and I tell folks, I tell everybody that calls me, please, if you're looking for Jesus, he's not here. Go pray and get that out of your soul and let's move forward. Forgive yourself and move forward.
Good advice. You are light, Faye Butler. You are and always been in my life. If I would use the word, you. And there's a Queen Jean, who's calling you Queen Ife.
Okay.
So you are. Yes, analyze and
And
communicate.
communicate. That's
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
We have to communicate.
So I want to get back to this, and
Hmm.
maybe I shouldn't, but I have to at least talk a little bit about some of our connections. And our first dance together was I was told that there's a fabulous actor to play Chicago actress to play Ella Fitzgerald. Oh,
I want to be
Faye
president
Butler
now,
for
right?
president. I am so there. Yes, let's do it. Um, and I said you were doing, what show were you doing at Long Wharf?
What a wonderful show to be doing and talking about at this time. I was doing Trouble in Mind.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Trouble in Mind,
wow.
which is a piece that's not done often enough.
Yeah.
And it speaks to all of the things that we talk about, even artistically. I mean, that's the whole point of it. For people that know, go read that play. Because it was a woman that's trapped in the middle of her career trying to figure out what to do. And she thinks she's going to have this big Broadway break by this big white producer. And he just wants her to do the same thing over and over again. And for once in her life, she stands up for herself and for the people around her in her community, and she makes a statement. It's such a wonderful piece. So it was a great time to be doing that. And I love that piece so much. Trouble in Mind. If you don't know it.
You want to do it again?
Oh, yeah. I love it. No. I love it. Because the love it piece about it, it's a middle-aged woman. So she doesn't have to be all these other things that so many times we get wrapped up in. She was the woman probably in her period in the 30s, because this piece is set in the 50s. So let's say in the best part of her career in the 40s, she was a lady in Cabin in the Sky that always sang the song at the end as they walk up, the black angels walk up the sky and say, yes, sir, we're going to be all right. And here she was finally getting to be the actress she wanted to do on Broadway, and not this, servitude that she was going to play. And it just didn't turn out that way when she got in the rehearsal hall.
How timely.
That's what I'm saying.
How timely. I'm going to go read that.
Go Trouble in Mind. Go read it.
All right. Everybody, Trouble in Mind. Read it. So we were at Long Wharf, and you were the first woman after Tina,
right,
who originated the role, Fabrique. I love
Which
you,
is
Tina
a
Fabrique.
hard road to climb.
And and understandably, Northlight wanted a Chicago actress in the role, and it was so interesting. I learned that the person, we all know this, but neither you nor Tina really ever did an impersonation. It was more like the essence of an impression. And I think you even said to me, like right off the bat, that's not what I'm doing. But I love that you started off the conversation saying you didn't sing, because you sang like 24 songs or parts
absolutely.
of.
Daunting task. Ella Fitzgerald, if you never want to really push yourself to the limits, I'd say to this day, I still do some of her songs in my club back because you made me learn them. And I have not forgotten them.
Well, in the show, we
Mr.
felt
Paganini was the hardest thing in my life to learn.
Yeah.
And I still sing it because once you know it, you never want to forget it.
And we transcribed her scats.
I know. And it was amazing. I mean, but there was so much love in that project. And you had the right people at the helm. Wow. You had George, that was my music director. He works with Count Basie's band. And you had, I can't think of his name, just died last year. Well, it was the musical director that did all the writing, that transcribed everything. Come on.
Oh, Danny Holgate.
Oh my God, Danny Holgate.
Oh.
I was just honored to be sitting at the piano with him.
Yeah,
what an amazing genius of a man who worked with Ella, worked with so many of my favorite artists that took me step by step. And I was doing double duty at the time.
Yeah.
And only Rob Rosario would ask you to do double duty when you're the lead in both shows. And go like, honey, you could do it. You
can do it.
You do that show to think, you could do it.
It kicked your ass. It did. It kicked all of us.
I mean, kicked my ass. Yeah.
It was, and so now, it's so funny. Like, I'm just jumping around because I have to say my memory of our first collaboration is so great, and this joy and this humor and how you push yourself and how you assert things in the room. But now it's like, did you ever think, what is this white director directing me and Ella?
No,
or conceiving a show about Ella?
No. And I'll tell you why. I am willing to listen to anyone that can bring me true context. And you knew your work. You studied, and the things you didn't know, you ask the people in the room. You ask George. You ask Danny Holgate. You ask me, is this good? Is this bad? Is this right? Should we be doing this? You ask the right questions, and you made it a collaboration. And anytime I can work with someone that is collaborating and not trying to tell my story for me, but help assist me tell the story they want me to get across, I'm in good company. And that's what you do. You assist the artist and getting the best out of them. You told me you remember, I don't know if you remember this. You told me, you said, Faye, trust me, I'll never make you look bad, because then that makes me look bad.
Oh my God, my staff's gonna have a field day with that one. But yeah, like thank you. I mean, I hope I served you with that.
Oh,
But
absolutely. But you
but
told
you
me
know, it's because I feel, to me, it always comes down to authenticity. And I was never one of those people that's like, do it this way. And someone wise told me one time, if you think you know everything, you die as an artist.
Yes, you do. Yes,
So
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
yeah.
And so you were always open to the process. It was a collaboration. So how can you go wrong? And if I didn't agree with something, I said, let's look at this again. You went, okay, let's look at it. I never thought about it that way. Well, let's try it. And then you would literally go out, watch it, and say, you know, I understand what you're saying, but I think in light of where we're going with this, this is going to be a better presentation of it. And I would agree with you, because ultimately you see better than I can.
Well, that's what collaboration is, right? There's a trust. You have to trust my eye. And I'm sure in the spirit of candor, you've worked with directors who really don't know their stuff, and I've worked with actors that don't know their shit. So, it's the worst thing you could do, you just said it, is if you don't know something, pretend that you do. Yes. That's been like the rule for me, to not be afraid to say, as a director, can you try this? And then I'll be like, oh, that was a terrible idea.
And you do that all the time. That's what you did that to me when we were doing Follies. You went, oh no, forget that. Go back to what you do. And then I'm like, I forgot. Did you turn to everybody? Did anybody see what she did before?
So I'm going to leap over to our most recent dance, because I'm going to save Showboat, you know why, for last. Yeah. But Follies, when when we don't get a chance to do Follies often. No. And that was like one of the first of like calling up Ife and saying, do you want to do this? Although it happened, I think.
No, that's not what you did.
You've never auditioned for me. You've always been offered roles. Yes, I love that.
But wait a minute. That is not what you did, Rob.
What did I do?
You said you're going to do Follies.
Oh.
Let's be truthful. Okay. And you said there are 2 roles. You can pick one or the other, but this is what I want you to do. That's what you said to me. So you just need to clear your schedule and figure it out. Yeah. You're going to be in St. Louis because I need you. And that's that. I love you. And you hung up. That's what you said.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. And I forgot that, but it's true. I called you up and said, I want you in Follies. I think I probably said, and you're doing it.
You did.
And you could do one of these 2 roles that had 2 different challenges. But we chose Who's That Woman?
Excuse me. We.
Did we? Was it?
You chose.
I did. Okay. So you did Who's That Woman? Did I choose?
Yes.
Who's That Woman? Well, we were going back and forth for a while. If I
know.
Recall. You're like, whatever you need me to do also. Right. But, we chose this side of Ife. She's saying, Stella. It was Stella, right? Stella, is that her name?
Yes, Stella.
Who's that woman?
What he wanted me to do. They just asked me.
Yes. So did you choose what he wanted you to do?
Yes.
I guess that's both true. I love our relationship. But I just have to say this, and I think we could have done a better job bringing color to that company. There's a perfect example if I'm going to own some things.
Yeah.
We brought color into the company with you, that character, and her husband. But if I'm going to own the stuff we're owning and looking at, I could have done a better job of diversifying that company. Mm-hmm. So I say that in ownership and in my ability to be a student right now. Right. But you are like people, you can't keep your eyes on you. And the fact that you tap dance like you tap dance.
Oh my God.
All of you lovely middle-aged women. And I remember Oh my God. Nancy Opal,
Oh my God.
right?
Every morning we had an hour. I want you guys to know, for all of you young people out there that think, oh, I think, every morning Rob demanded that all of us, and I'm talking about Emily Skinner. I'm called out the list, honey.
Christiane Knoll.
Christiane Knoll, all of us. We all had to have an hour tap class every morning before rehearsal.
Thank you, Ralph. Ralph was and oh my
was,
God, Nancy, I hope you watch this at some point, but she would be like, I go up to Ralph and say, I hate you. Like, this is bullshit. Like
we took
and
longer
then
10-minute breaks than any group of people I know. Ralph said, okay, come on, ladies, you have to get back on up here. And we'd be like, oh,
but
God.
when it happened,
it was
when
amazing.
the magic of, the young women and their older counterparts tap dancing at the level you all tap danced happened.
Because I kept saying, when last time I saw it, who was Terry White, she didn't do this dance break. You turned to me and said, you're doing the dance break. Can I just fade away and my younger part do it? You said, no. You're not getting out of the dance break. You're all doing the dance break. Ladies, you're going to have class every morning and you're going to love it.
And who stopped the show very often? Who stopped the show? I was there one time where they applauded. I don't know, it was a long time.
I was like, and I turned around to somebody, I said, what happened? They said, you dummy. I said, oh.
That's the star factor of, you're who you are as a person cannot help but ooze from your work. And, and that particular essence that you have, that sparkle, that star quality shown in your Ella differently than it's shown in Tina's Ella. And that's interesting. So now let's talk about it. Let's talk about Showboat.
Yes. Only you could get me to do Showboat. Once again, only you.
I remember the conversation.
Yes.
Very much. I called you and said, do you want to do Showboat? And you're like, I don't know. Let's talk.
I said, we're going to talk about it. I said, we got to talk about it. Showboat is one of those shows that I know is a classic. First, let me say that wholeheartedly. But it's a story that I think sometimes a lot of theaters do to please some of their audience members. They like the old canon of shows sometimes. And so I've been in a situation like, for instance, in Chicago, where I have seen Showboat done probably in a 10-year span, probably 5 times at the spot. I'm not gonna lie to you, and anybody from Chicago, if you're on the line, you can chime in. It's like every theater in town was doing Showboat, and I couldn't, or Big River. And I'm like, what is that saying that every time you want to employ African Americans on stage, this is the epic piece you choose? I don't know what that means. And so for a time, it was something I just did not want to do. I just did not want to do it. I said, because there's something that's not authentic about it. There's somebody said, yep. You see that? Chicago. He knows what I'm talking about. It was like every audition was either Big River or Showboat.
Wow.
And so I got to the point that I was like, I just can't do it. So
had you ever done it before? I
had done it once before, many, many years ago.
Right.
And it was one of those things that it was handled okay, but it just didn't settle. And I wanted to do it because I wanted to say, okay, I've done it. I can release that. And I'm not speaking from a place of ignorance, because I don't like to speak about things that I've at least not tried. It's like people that say, I don't like that. Well, have you ever tried it? No. Well, then shut up. So I at least wanted to.
I love you. Yes.
Okay. So at least wanted to do it so I could say. And once I did it, I said, okay, I've done that. I did it. I've experienced it. I know how I felt during the process. And I really don't want to do that again.
You said that to me.
And so you said to me, you said, I solely get what you're saying. You said, but just listen to me. You said, Joe and Queenie are always shown as just servants. But I want to take a spin on showing that Queenie and Joe have a relationship. an African-American relationship that shows love and passion and fun and what marriage is, no matter what your color is. You just happen to be the two African-American people in that lead role that are servants for this family, but you're a part of the family.
Wow.
And I want people to see that there is love. And it's not just this banjy thing and just dancing and singing, but true love and affection, not only as a couple, but as a family member of this family.
Wow.
And you said, and I promise you, it will be handled that way. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, and I remember Michael even walking into the room, the managing of the artistic director saying, he said, at any point, if you feel uncomfortable, and you constantly said this to me.
Michael Edwards, yeah.
Michael Edwards said it, and you said it to me constantly. Please let us know. We don't want to move any further than you feel comfortable with. And it was because you gave me that license, and Michael, Leslie, and the rest of the cast.
Yeah,
that it was such a joyous event.
Well,
because you didn't make light of, you actually honored the love and the relationship. You even added the song that's never done.
I added the song, like Queenie and Joe disappear normally. Like, I felt like this was a story of a show business family.
Right.
On the boat of all colors, all together. And that really Queenie and Joe were the mother and father figures of that boat, not Parthy and Captain Andy. They were the children, you know, as well. And so when I look back now in this time, and I was like, did I, you know, like, I don't remember some of that. But I remember that now that you say it, you're like, I did say that because it was important to me. I thought to have I Still Suits Me come back at the end, you know, because I was asked to do the show. I went to Goodspeed where I did it first. And I was like, can I look at the material? I didn't even, you know, propose the show. So if I was going to do it, I needed to find a way in. And the show business family was it. And when you look at the book, when you read the book, when you look at the play, you know, there is a world. And I guess the big question is, did we succeed? Is it possible with that show? Because I think we did fulfill our commitments to each other. I hope I did to you.
Yeah, you absolutely
did. That relationship lasted all that time, and that the audience responded to that. I gave them like the 10 o'clock number. I gave Queenie and Joe the 10 o'clock number. And I just really wanted them to not recede to stereotype and give them their place in this family. Do you remember the leaving when Magnolia and Ravenel leave the boat, and the connection between you and her? So
and standing on the deck, watching her, and you know,
singing Misery.
You did some amazing things. You did and that's what made it worth it for me. Especially the second song, the song in the second act. You know, because it is what relationships are built on. You know, a husband and wife that have been together for so many years that they still go, well, hush up there, you know.
Fight.
Doing this and making light of it and just having a good time in the kitchen.
And it was still sexy. It was sexual too.
And it was sexy because we were touching each other, and you know.
Well, you upped the sex factor totally.
Right. We did that in the love, you know, just like the button with the flower on his nose and kissing him on his nose, and us actually kissing, you know what I'm saying? And not just going like, ooh, but actually kissing and knowing that it was a love that we had for one another as Queenie and Joe, and not just a gratuitous, you know, here they are, Queenie and Joe, sing big, you know, that Old Man River, and you come out and sing that other song, and then you're loving that man of mine, and okay, now we're done. You know?
Yeah. So I'm going to bridge to, God, I knew this would fly by, but we're still doing okay on time.
Yeah, we are.
You know, so I look at that, and can we do that now? Is it wrong for a white privileged male to be direct? See, like, I remember our relationship, our collaborations with a certain memory, and these past, you know, 14 days, 17 days, I think it's about 17 actually, you know, I start to question, I'm going to be like a little raw here for a minute. Am I misremembering these? Did did I do something that disrespected you or other artists of
No,
color?
not for me.
You know, and
No.
I'm really asking
And
that
I'm a hard,
question.
and
It
let me
weighs
tell you
on
something.
me.
No, let me say, you know this about me when we have personal conversations as well as professional conversations. And anybody that knows me in this business, artistic directors across the country, managing directors, and I know plenty of them because, you know, I'm like the whore of regional theater. I've worked at every regional theater in this country. That's what I call myself. I love regional theater and I love live theater with all my soul, and I've worked at most of them. And one of the things about me is I don't pull my punches. If I see that something is not going in the right direction, if, you know, I can agree to disagree, but I don't continue to come back and have a collaboration with you because you're doing things wrong. I could easily say, well, that's great, Rob. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And keep it moving. But you've always been respectful to me. You've always included me in the process. You know, the things that I love about you that you do is tell me you're doing Stella and there's really no choice. So let's just figure it out. Those are the things you say. I mean, if that's crazy, then yeah, you're crazy, Rob. But it's not
but
crazy.
I don't want people, I so appreciate, I'm embarrassed now by your words and I appreciate them. But I really invite you to, and I know you are actually, because I know you, and you would tell me, you have told me in a moment in rehearsal, you know, basically you're full of shit, or,
Right.
you know, that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense to me. Right.
That's what I love
And I've
about.
even said to you before, we did something and you asked me something Stella was doing. You said, well, could you do so and so? I said, no, because as a Black woman, I'd never do that. And you went, oh, I got that. Okay. Oh, okay. And then you asked me why. I explained it to you. We had the conversation. That's what I'm saying. You, at least you're open enough to have the conversation with me and not be offended by it. And I'm open enough to have a conversation with you and not be offended that you asked me.
I think that's one of the biggest things. You're shining a light on something that has really been a light bulb for me, because a lot of this, and I don't know if you've read, I'm sure you have, We See You, White American Theater. Yes, I've read it multiple times. I signed it. And it was really hard because that you look in there and you really have to move past your fear or embarrassment or resistance and try to take it in order to be better. And I think where, if I'm going to own a failure today, is like those experiences are great. And it's hard because they were with people whose work I love and respect. There weren't enough different voices at some of those tables in the creative team.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's the creative side. You hired the best actors in the world, but sometimes everybody is not prepared on the other side of the table to fulfill some of the needs of the people that are standing on the floor.
And it doesn't dismiss any of their amazing work. And it was all amazing work. But what might have happened, were there other voices with other perspectives who understand what dress Stella would wear, although you had a fabulous dress. Because you collaborated on it. Right. You're like, this is what I'd wear.
Right.
It was hot pink and hot.
Right, because that's what she would wear. I felt that. And I would say it has to be this kind of look, because this is what, you know, a woman that's coming back to reunion, an African-American woman, she gonna put on all of the stops, honey. She got it all pressed and ready to go.
But so without, you know, and we can bypass this, but without naming any names or pointing any fingers, like, what, is there anything profound you ever experienced, either at, you know, an uncomfortable moment with the director or another actor, that you like are interested in sharing, or that you've been reflecting on?
I think the biggest thing that I have probably continued to wrestle with sometimes are the people on the other side of the table, the preparation. I think if you're going to do a piece, in my opinion, that's going to have an extremely diverse cast, then the people that are in the room with you should be as diverse. That is probably my biggest concern, because when I want to get past something, when I want to explain something to you, if there's nobody on the team and I feel like I have to now stop my process to go into this deep, you know, thing, and then it becomes, and for some people, it becomes an issue. See, you're a person that it kind of slides off of you and you can take in and release, but other people take it as, what did I do wrong? It's not that you did anything wrong. It's just that you got to just listen to me for a minute so you can understand my perspective on things. And I think sometimes if you're going to do certain pieces and you're going to make them diverse, you got to make sure that you've done the work ahead of time in your prep that make the room that diverse so that everybody has a soft place to fall.
And to have enough voices on the other side of the table, that Tanisha speak on it, that you feel like you have somebody who understands you are not the only voice.
No.
And that's what I'm learning, that you
Yes.
have somebody on the other side of the table. So you don't have to like stop your process to quote you, to learn, to teach me.
The room.
Yeah,
and then
teach the room.
Right. And sometimes that teaching moment, when it's stopped like that, takes everybody down. So now we got to gear back up. You know what I'm saying? Now we got to gear it all back up. Okay, let's come back. And then people feel like they now have to apologize. And you don't have to apologize. And you wouldn't have to apologize if the room just kind of looked a little bit like it was diverse.
So simple. You're answering my question, which is like, what can we do to make a difference? And you make it sound so easy. And in some way, that is a big gesture to go a long way.
Yeah,
and
it's just being able to walk in the room and see. And in my, you know, where I come from, and because I've been doing this so long, there are many times I'm the only African-American in the entire production.
Wow.
I don't, off and on stage. And, you know, when you're in that position, oh my God, you're teaching costumers how to costume you. You're teaching people how to do your hair. You're teaching somebody to give me the right makeup. Do you have hoes for me? Oh, they don't have hoes in my town that look like you. But you knew I was coming. You can't make artists that you invite to your house feel like they got to bring the groceries, the bed, the covers, the blankets, the food. You got to at least, you know, I was coming. Prepare for my arrival.
Yeah. Amen.
But I think sometimes people just take the talent and they forgo all of that. And that's why sometimes once you're out of the rehearsal room, it can become really tense for people when you get in tech, when they don't have the things that they need. When I get ready to go into tech, and I'm the only Black one in the show, and I'm just using this as an example, and all of the European women in the cast have wigs that are appropriate and the hair texture they need to be, have the hose that are the color they need to be, have undergarments dyed to the skin color they need to be, have all of those things available to them. And I'm like bringing my pantyhose from Chicago, having to ship them out because you didn't know where to get them from. You don't have a wig person that has any idea about African-American hair, because no matter what the character is I'm doing, I am African-American. That doesn't change for the audience. So you want me to look like the best African-American that you hired to do the piece. But sometimes the prep work hasn't been done. So that's not a cross I have to bear once I get out of the rehearsal room. I'm great in the rehearsal room.
Yeah. Really good.
When I get out of the rehearsal room, you've even said to me, "Oh my God, what is that you're wearing?" And I go, "Talk to the costumes. I don't know. I'm just wearing it."
Yeah. Like you've really just taught me, you really articulated something so profound and specific. You know, like we all care about, you know, my staff laughs at me because I'm obsessed with the housing and making sure there's like no pilly sheets and no stains on the towel. You know me, obsessively clean. Well, you know, my team, my associate makes welcome baskets for the actors. But you know what? Like part of that is making a artist of color, a BIPOC artist, a Black artist feel as welcome. And part of that is understanding that we need to be ready to welcome you and make you feel, and that sounds like I'm sounding like a Hallmark cardinal, but I'm really hearing you that is an action. That is an action. E-Face coming to TheaterWorks, and you are. So we need to make sure we have the people and the tools so you can do your work and not have to bring your own stuff to my house.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do.
you know what I
I hear
mean?
you.
You know,
I
as a good
do.
host, you shouldn't have to bring anything with you. But sometimes, and then I've got to teach you where to go. Here, da 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 da. We don't have this. Da 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 da. Well, you got to find somebody. I need a haircut. I mean, if it's a guy, he needs his haircut once a week because you want it to look a certain way. You know, how can he maintain that? You can't tell him to go find a barber. What do you mean, go find a barber?
Someone just
Or,
said, I think I just ask Black artists what they need. And that's a real simple way of putting it. We should make an effort to have enough voices at the table that knowledge should be there. But
or even when
also
I mean,
asking.
right. I mean, it's simple too. Is that even in your I'm just saying this. I'm throwing this out. This is not you, Hartford. I'm saying in general. Knowing that when you hire a costumer or a wig person, that they don't have some skills in diverse hair care, or at least have someone that they can go to that can assist them with that. So that it's not when I get there, all of a sudden, now we got to hunt somebody down.
Right.
If you could say to me, oh, we have a girl in place that's going to be doing your wigs or whatever, and she's going to come in and she's da 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 da, or we want you to wear your hair, and this is a salon that we have on staff that can take care of your needs, and you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All those kinds of things are things, or knowing that, Faye, if you need any cosmetics, this is the store you can go to and get cosmetics you need. They also have, you know what I'm saying? So that I can replenish my things. But when it becomes this search in Never Land, and a lot of times,
Well, yeah,
I'm like,
it could, it's like, it's a bad metaphor, but it is like going, like saying, come spend the 2 weeks at my house and then, and bring your own towels and bring your own sheets and bring your own food. I am
maybe
not
you're
a
not
hair,
a hair
I
expert.
am not a hair expert. But so I promised myself I would be, there are also, it doesn't negate the truth that we just spoke about. But there are some really skilled Broadway hair people who actually are white and specialize in doing like all those wigs for
I
like.
know, and I love it. I mean, the guy we had at Oslo, I cannot think of his name now, so I'm sorry with names. I'm getting older. But I love
Who?
him that did the wigs for Oslo when we did Showboat. I cannot think of his name off the top of my head. But I love the fact that when I
Wasn't it
walked,
Leah? We didn't bring Leah in. Who did the wigs?
I don't remember who did it.
Mark Adam? Was it Mark Adam?
I don't know who
All
designed them.
right.
I'm so sorry,
Sorry, I should know too.
but when I walked in the room, what a glorious thing to see a wig that said, "Oh, I didn't have to worry about it. It looked like African American hair of the period." And it was the right thing. And I could put it on and go, okay, I'm comfortable. I'm
Good.
comfortable because I'm not like going, okay, so you gave me
Oh,
this like Asian looking wig. I don't know what to do with it because my hair doesn't look like that.
luckily, my obsession on detail has helped me a little bit because you know me, I'm like, this is not the right martini glass. It needs to have a half inch more stem. Her dress needs like,
Right.
can we add a quarter of an inch to that hem?
Exactly. Exactly.
But you really, and you said something earlier, and one of my friends, Eric Uola, posted on Instagram, be the change you want to see, not the post you want to see.
That's
Because
it.
we have been balancing as an organization, as a team, as an individual, balancing like real kind of examining our complicity, and trying not to speak words that are not authentic, that we can't
Right.
stand behind, to really think through. And I thought that was really direct, because really what will come is a month from now, or 3 months from now, or 6 months from now. Are we, when things change, settle, when the protests maybe stop, or maybe they won't, but when things begin to feel calmer again, the conversations can't stop, the
Yeah.
actions can't stop. That's going to be the real test.
Yeah. 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 You're absolutely right. And I hope they don't stop the conversations. We need to continue to learn. We need to continue to grow. We all do. I mean, in many ways. I mean, I always say to artists, especially when they have a lot to say, I said, do you know how a theater functions? Do you know the responsibility of a theater? You know, that's important to know as an artist as well. Not just being the one that comes in the door and just goes in the rehearsal hall and go, I got mine. But you have to also know what a theater I know,
I love you.
you got
I
to know
love
how
you.
the theater operates.
Yeah.
So many people think that you can just snap your fingers and it happens, but there's there's bureaucracy wherever you go, and there's things that you have to do. And that's why I implore artists to know the mission statement of the place you're going. I don't know how you can go and work at a theater and not know their mission statement. It can answer the myriad of questions for you before you even sign a contract. If you just want to know, just read it. It just takes you a second, you know?
So I actually didn't know that about you. Bravo to you. So you read their mission statements before you accept a job? Wow.
Because
All
sometimes
right.
sometimes it can be that they need you there to make money for them, but not necessarily need you.
Yeah, and that is like one of the things that have been, when you look in the mirror metaphorically, when you're kind of going back, and I know we're not supposed to go back, but we have to go back to understand the wrong choices to do
Right.
better sometimes.
Right.
And, and I really questioning, like, are they doing this from an authentic place? And I will put you on that list that to me, my love and respect for you feels completely authentic.
Absolutely.
And you want to make sure the difference between that and the Ife, you are coming and you're doing this because I value you, and let's bring a Black artist or a Black person or a brown person to speak here because we need to represent diversity. Because really, my team is pressing me, and thank you, my team, to own what we have, commit to be doing better, and not what's the word, and not make it performative.
Right. And don't apologize.
Well, you taught me that today.
Stop apologizing. Just do it. Stop apologizing.
All right.
Just let's move forward.
Can I call you when you yell at, when I'm feeling, too focused on my own sense? All right, I'm gonna call you.
I will yell at you 100 times. When you do that, I will yell at you 100 times. You know that.
I'm just gonna go over because I'm enjoying this just by a little bit, because we have a little kind of Faye Butler deep dish kind of game I want to do to end. But before I do that, Chicago theater community, how are they navigating this? Because you're a big part of that.
Yeah, they're navigating pretty well. Of course, everybody's upset. A lot of theaters open their doors. Leaders are having hard times. There are many factions here. Some people feel like there's not enough. There's too much. I think that what people need to do is go back and, as they protest, know the history of the things that you talk about. That's my biggest thing. I want you to be knowledgeable. I don't want you to yell just to yell. Do your research, get some knowledge, and come up with solutions. Come up with something else to bring to the table besides what you didn't do. I want to see people come up with ideas to make places better, especially places they've worked at. I mean, it's just like me saying to you in a general way about hairstylists. That's really important to some people. I want solutions. And so I think in Chicago, one of the things that I've really been trying to tell a lot of the young artists I've been talking to and established artists is, I understand it's hard. You don't know what hard is. I've been doing this for 40 years. And I've had different, honey.
I thought it was 35.
Well, shut up. And I've had a lot of horrible, horrible stories to tell, but I can't dwell on that, because it gets better and better every step I go. I'm just praying that the generation that we have here around the country, as well as Chicago, will put their best foot forward for positive and energized things. We can live in the negative all the time.
I love that you bring, and that's you. That's how I've always known you. And because I'm going to get shut down, I'm doing my quick deep dish with Ife.
Okay.
Here's a warm-up question. Who is your favorite non-Chicago director?
Robert Sherry.
Perfect. What's your favorite color?
Purple.
I knew that. What does the E stand for in your name?
Elizabeth.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've known you all this time because I've called you Faye. What costume out of all the costumes did you wear that you couldn't wait to put on, that you love to wear?
Oh my God, it's so many. But the one I did at the
Pick one.
Muni the Muni were doing Eveline last year.
Oh, I didn't see that. Was it a great costume?
God, it was amazing.
All right. They do
Leon.
great stuff.
It was Leon.
Leon. Name one of you. I will say one of your favorite roles you've ever played.
Mama Rose.
I knew you were going to say that, and I want to talk about that. Okay. What is the best regional food you've discovered when you've been out of town?
Crabs.
Really? Ted Drew's frozen custard is mine. What is something no one knows about you?
That I love being at home and being quiet.
Oh, I didn't. What city did you think you never would play? Like, I never thought I would play this city.
Omaha.
So this is a good one. What is your favorite out-of-town city to play? Sorry, you're going to pick it.
Washington, D.C.
I love Washington. I don't blame you. Play or musical, what's your favorite? Doing plays or musicals?
I love them both. I have to say I can't pick. I'm sorry.
All right. I love it. And what role would you love to play that you haven't?
Oh, my God. Mame.
Name. Okay. And last question. Will you please come back to Connecticut soon?
Anytime, any day,
all right.
any
Pinky
hour.
swear.
Pinky swear, baby.
I'm going to be calling you. Listen,
I love you.
Before I get kicked off, I love you. Thank you for your candor. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your joy. You have given me more today than you can imagine, Faye Butler, and I love you.
Cheers. I love you. I love you guys. Be well. Stay safe and stay strong.
Peace.
Peace, baby. Love you.
Thank you all for watching. Before I zone off, what an amazing night. I'm so happy I did it. And thank you all for joining us. We're talking about taking a break. Watch your emails, taking a break next week on our programming in order to, we're trying to churn this out to really think about how we can pivot our programming in the next few weeks towards a connection to what is happening in the world. And we are going to bring back Get Sauced because, wow. And maybe after tonight, my team will convince me to keep it. But stay tuned for new information about our programming. And I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe.